Electric vehicles are quickly catching the fancy of the nation, and two-wheelers have a large role to play in it. However, to further push the penetration of EVs in India, one has to think out of the box, and this is where battery swapping technology comes in. I have with me Mr. Kaushik Burman, who is the GM at Gogoro India, to discuss about it. Mr. Burman, welcome to Z News.
Thank you so much.
So let's start by discussing the basics first. To our viewers who don't know exactly what is the battery swapping technology, can you elaborate more about it?
So battery swapping is different from direct charging in that battery swapping is similar to a gas station.
Okay.
Where you have, in case of Gogoro's battery swapping, you have a cabinet which has got 30 slots. Right. 2 are empty slots and the 28 have fully charged batteries.
Okay.
As a customer, I have subscribed to the network. So I'm kind of subscribing to battery as a service model. So as a customer, I walk up to I take my vehicle to a battery swap station, and in 6 seconds I replace the drained batteries into those empty slots.
Okay.
And in 6 seconds I get 2 fully charged batteries in 6 seconds. So it's literally zero downtime for me. It works beautifully for fleets because today if fleet owner operators have to look at alternatives to switching from ICE to EV, they cannot afford operational downtime, right? Because the deliveries have gone through the roof. So they need the solutions which work for the riders.
So if I'm getting it right, you have a two-wheeler.
Yeah.
You have removable batteries.
Yeah.
You remove those batteries. You go to a swapping
That's
station.
correct.
Put your empty battery inside
right.
the
Yes.
station. Take out the fully recharged battery, which is already recharging
Yes.
inside the station,
Right.
and you
Right.
put in the vehicle, and then you're
Off
good
you
to go.
That's right. And in
Okay.
our swapping infrastructure, we run this on a very, very advanced artificial intelligence platform.
Okay.
So it optimizes the charge rate of the battery. So during peak hours, the charge rate is higher, whereas in off-peak hours, the charge rate is slower. So that has a very impact on the battery life.
Okay.
Because if your batteries are continuously getting fast charged and discharged, it has an impact on the asset longevity.
Do you think that battery swapping actually solves the problem of the EV owners, or do you think this is just another technology that will entice the buyers?
Today in India, electric vehicles, especially two-wheelers, is at about sub 1% penetration.
Okay.
The total stock of EVs is about 1.5 million units, and the total stock of two-wheelers, ICE vehicles, is about 250 million, plus or minus. So that's like sub 1%, which means 99% of the market needs to be unlocked.
Right.
There will be multiple solutions, but battery swapping is the most safest, reliable energy refueling infrastructure in densely populated cities of India, right? So as you go into far-flung remote areas, by all means there will be direct charging opportunities, fast charging on the highways, slow chargers at home or residential complexes. But if you just scan around Delhi, Gurgaon, you just see there's no space available. So
Right.
and in a swapping infrastructure, in 6 seconds you're getting in and getting out, right, as a customer. So the range anxiety issue for the customer and having the whole headache around battery safety, performance issues, all that is gone. So the customer just goes, buys the vehicle, signs up for a subscription agreement with Gogoro, and then he's just like your telecom plan. You don't have to worry about it.
You talk about the infrastructure bit. Do you think that is it infrastructure only that is pulling back the EVs to become a counterpart to the ICE vehicles, or are there any other technological advancement we can see in the future that can actually push the EV sales?
See, that's a great question, and I think you've given the answer in your question itself. As a buyer, the reason why I'm not opting for an EV is I don't see the charging infrastructure.
Okay.
I do not see a battery swapping infrastructure. Today, you have to understand that there in India about 90,000 ballpark 90,000 fuel retailing destinations. Large part of this are the Indian Oils, HPCLs, BPCLs of the world, and then you have private companies like Shell, BP, Reliance getting in, right? So this infrastructure is already created, and that's like already massive across the length and breadth of the country. So we have to have at least 6 to 8 million fast chargers across the length and breadth of the country. We need to have at least 500,000 500,000 battery swapping station infrastructure. And that will not happen overnight, but it has to ramp up very quickly over the next decade if we are serious about electrification.
Lastly, India recently trumped Japan to become the third largest automaker in the world, automobile market in the world rather. How do you see the Indian EV market vis-a-vis the global markets? Do you think we are in a right direction to reach the global supremacy, or do you think that we are still at a very nascent stage as compared to the other global markets?
I am of the view that India is doing the right things by focusing on smart mobility.
Okay.
Policy support has been helpful.
Okay.
It's been a tailwind. In fact, we need to have the governments. We need to develop this ongoing constructive dialogue between industry and the government, so that government understands what the future of mobility looks like and can shape policies that will help. So policy is super important in this case. India is doing extremely well in terms of a lot of entrepreneurs who have taken the risk in developing the ecosystem. There are plenty of entrepreneurs who have established new brands, they're trying out new products, coming to the market with new products, and that requires a lot of risk appetite, which is great. India's entrepreneurial momentum has taken the world by storm, right? I mean, so many unicorns coming out of India, right? So, and the digitization story. So, smart mobility and digitization, along with consumer, these are kind of three independent flywheels which are trying to kind of converge. And the fourth one is fintech. So, if you combine all these flywheels together, smart mobility, fintech, digital platforms, right, along with the consumer, which is direct to consumer, D2C, this is going to be a massive flywheel. So I think of these as multiple S curves, growth curves coming together to create a humongous impact for decades to come.
Thank you for talking to Zee News.
My pleasure. Thank you for having me.